Hello Internet, this is BoneCarlos coming to you live from the Core Hall compound to begin another StarCraft 2 commentary. I feel kind of rested, feel kind of energetic, not really though. It's like 4 in the morning and I'm dead tired. Not as quite tired as I was in my previous couple of casts, but I'm going to go ahead and give this a go. This is one of the new ladders, one of the new maps on the ladder for Season 6. It is kind of interesting actually. And what I've noticed as a general theme about the new ladders is that it's very easy to take your second your natural, while somewhat easy to take your third. So I'm assuming this is Blizzard's way of saying to try to get more macro intensive plays rather than the 1-2 base all-ins that we have grown used to seeing over the last couple of seasons. So that's it for the map and my opinions on that. Let's go ahead and get introduced to players. Spawning in the bottom left, we have Dazed spawning as the Red Terran. I do believe he is about a Platinum Diamond level random player, so thumbs up to him for playing random. And we see nicocompass spawning as a Blue Terran in the opposite corner, and as we can see, they're both pretty much doing the basics thing, as one of them's walling off while Daze decided to just go ahead and throw down a SimCity-esque type build where he's just going to go ahead and haphazardly throw his buildings down willy-nilly. Let's go ahead and take a look at the APM from both players, and we actually see nicocompass is actually way ahead in his APM by having about 60 average, while Daze only has about 17. Perhaps he is a bit confused on the whole APM structure. But puns aside, we do see him taking a reactor down, or a refinery, so more than likely going to see a quick tech push, maybe a couple of marauders, or a quick reactor on that barracks, while over in nicocompass's base we do not see a single reactor going down or refinery going down. So even though these two are both Terran players, we actually see divergences in both of their plays, which is one of the reasons I really love StarCraft 2. I've explained this to my girlfriend a couple times, and the reason I love this so much is that you could have two players playing the exact same map 10 times, and there's a very strong possibility, in fact there's a very good possibility, that none of those 10 matches will be exactly the same. And as we could see, we see the one little Marine coming out for nicocompass. You know what, I've heard him called Steve or Bob or Joe, but I'm just going to go ahead and call him Soldier number 3143, since, you know, they really don't have names. Over in Dave's base, we see him putting down a second barracks and already has a tech lab and a Reaper going down for him. So very interesting play. I love seeing, like I said before, I love seeing little harassment plays, even if they are being done against me. So a single Reaper can cause a lot of instability in your opponent's base, especially if you're not ready for it. I mean, this Reaper could just go here, hop up here, hit, take down two or three SCVs quite easy, while jumping down here to harass if there is an expansion and just fly away unscathed. We actually see the Reaper already checking out his little patrol area. He's actually going to go ahead and move around, going to check to see if there's actually an expansion, but he is going to run into these 3 Marines. I would actually like to see Daze take the less obvious route and go in through the back door, and I doubt this Reaper is going to do much damage here. I mean, there is 4 Marines, 1, 2, 3, and down it goes. Unfortunately, nothing really happened out of it. We do see another Reaper going out for Daze. Let's hope he learns from his mistakes and gives them a different little path to follow than other than the one that he just did. So we do see Nico taking this Zelnaga Tower, which is perfect. He shows them a good range of vision, and it shows him that just about any kind of push that his opponent will be able to do, whether it's through this ramp or through this back ramp over here. But this Reaper is going to go ahead and take care of, going to go ahead and meander on by, not even worry about it. And unfortunately, Nico saw the entire thing. He already placed a couple of Marines here just in case there is any kind of sneaky Reaper play, but you forget that there is actually another little quarter here, and those Marines have no idea that that Reaper is in his base. It's going in, and let's go ahead and count, see how many kills Daze can pull off. There's one SCV going down, a second SCV goes down, and Daze is forced to just dance around and almost picks off a third, but decides to kind of just pull back since the Marines are there to reinforce. Takes like another couple of pot shots at his enemies and takes down a Marine. This Reaper is actually doing quite a bit of damage. Not only is he taking off SCVs and single Marines left and right, but he's also negating any kind of mining that another SCV goes down before that Reaper finally dies. And taking a look at the units lost tab, we see 6 units lost in that total exchange. That 2 units lost at 4 days, but that was actually the original Reaper that he lost over here. So all in all, a fairly decent exchange, especially with all that mining that was being interrupted in that process. That actually gave him a chance to get down a starport, a factory, along with 3 barracks. It's actually quite a bit of unit producing structures to be able to support on one base. Even though Terran does have those OP mules, there's still a limit on how much they can mine. I would have actually liked them to bypass this factory altogether, to put down an extra command center. But you know what? He's actually built that factory just to get the starport. We're more than likely going to see a quick switch right over here, so that starport can have that tech lab. More than likely going to see either cloaked banshees or ravens. More than likely banshees with his, there it is, a banshees go down. I was about to say more than likely banshees with his early aggression. He's just going to go ahead and follow it up with some cloaked banshees. Or possibly not even cloak them. Just go ahead, 2 banshees, even if they're not cloaked, could do a ton of damage on an worker line. Other than that, we don't see anything else too crazy. I mean, both are researching stim, and we actually see Nico putting down, getting a couple of siege tanks down, and usually researching siege mode. So if that's more for defensive purposes or for offensive purposes, it's still too early to tell. He is actually moving with quite a heavy marine force, and no marauders as of yet. I mean, he does have a tech lab on that barracks, but he's just using it to get that stim pack upgrade. And we have a little, notification saying the system is shutting down in 15 minutes. Thankfully, this game will be over before then. We can see the Marines actually going down, and control. There we go. Sound enabled. I still don't hear any sound. This is very interesting. System is going to be shut down in 15 minutes. What a great, marvelous time for me to cast, isn't it? We actually see siege tanks are right in front of his base. And sound has returned, and siege mode is just about finished. So once we see siege mode up and running, we're more than likely going to see the siege tanks park right here, siege up, and take down any kind of infantry units that are pushing forward. But actually, if Dazed is actually able to push forward and take out these siege tanks before they siege up, it's going to actually be a great deal of hurt for nicocompass. He's actually pulling back. He's going to siege these up any second now, and if Dazed isn't careful, he's going to lose his entire force. He's actually trying to push forward, trying to get within the line of fire. And he just doesn't get close enough to get in within that field of vision, but still manages to take down that siege tank. And these 2 Marines are going to go down to this Marauder force. 1, 2, done. Now, I would have actually liked to see Dazed just push a little bit further, a little bit closer to the siege tanks, so those siege tanks wouldn't have been able to get off that second volley. But that was his decision, not mine, him to go. He actually has an orbital command all up and ready, primed and ready to go. Going to go ahead and take his natural finally. And if we take over at look at the income tab, we actually see the fact that Nico got his second expansion up so quickly, or his natural expansion up so quickly, and it just goes to show. I mean, harvesters are way up in his face, and alongside all kind of mining, along all minings, he's actually in the lead. And we actually see a single missile turret here, just to go ahead and push back any kind of banshee, but still not quite in range to be able to pull these completely back. We actually see just Dazed just poking around, just seeing what he can do, trying to pick off as many SCVs as possible, and they're actually one-shotting these SCVs. So like I said before, 2 benches could do quite a bit of damage, one-shotting any kind of workers, because then if he's not careful, he's actually going to lose them. But he actually manages to get cloaked just in time. There is a missile turret right here to spot him. But you know what? Still, these two benches are quite paying off for themselves. I actually like to see him push forward and take out these siege tanks if he could possibly do so. But he's just going to go ahead and keep harassing that worker line and doing as much damage economically wise as possible, which is actually a nice move by Dazed, since he knows he is behind, since he saw that second expansion, or that natural expansion, go down so early compared to what he had. Actually, Dazed is finally being chased away, but not before each banshee has a ton of kills. One has 13 and the other has 6, so they more than paid for themselves. And as we see in the unit launch tab, we actually see Dazed with only 22 at 1400 resources, and while Nico has double that. So very interesting to see what harassment can actually do if done properly. Well, not so properly. I'm still mourning the loss of this Reaper right over here. But you know what? That's all said and done. The second Reaper did its job and performed it admirably, while these 2 banshees more than made up for any kind of shortfall that those two Reapers did have. Other than that, in the production tab, what do we have for Nico? We actually see him upgrading his infantry, while Daze is actually just continuing to work on his normal upgrades. We actually have concussive cell down, which is fairly decent against Terran, I would say, but with the stim, it kind of negates that, in my opinion. And we actually see another quick harassment by Daze. He actually gets one of his benches does get taken down, but you know what? He's still got a couple of pot shots off, got 3 or 4 kills, and that's just fine and dandy. You actually see Nico just being forced to play completely defensive, building missile turrets left and right just to hold off these couple of Banshees. Once this one gets up, pretty much any kind of harassment options will be done. I mean, he might be able to sneak in through here, but I think that will be the end of the Banshee harassment for now. Other than that, we actually see Daze getting ready to gear up and attack. I'm not sure if he has siege tank yet, and he doesn't look like he's getting prepared to take it anytime soon. So right now it's just going to be a couple of tanks. Actually, a single tank with a decent sized infantry force, but with these siege tanks that Nico has, it is going to be he's going to be very hard pressed to be able to take out this position right here. I would actually like for Daze to actually just park himself right here or right here and just hold off any kind of advancement from Nico. But you know what? Daze says, you know what, BoneCarlos, I don't need to listen to you. I could care less what you have to say. I'm just going to go ahead and drop in his base. No problem, no big deal. And with Nico's entire forces out of position, we actually see Daze not doing as much damage as of yet. He still has not yet to move his force forward. That line does stem up, push forward into Nico's base, and the siege tanks are out of position. One gets taken down fairly easily, while the rest of the forces are being pummeled from the high ground. And as we can see, these tanks are doing a bunch of damage even without being sieged up. They already have 2 kills on them, and Daze just really needs to be careful to stay out of the siege mode range from Nico's siege tanks. And Nico is trying to bait him forward, but Daze is just not falling for it. He's pulling back, staying within damage of within range of any kind of unit structures, while staying out of any kind of siege mode. And you see Daze actually just having free reign over his opponent's base. And you see a Marauder trying to get crappy while taking down a Marine, but these siege tanks are finally up and running. Vikings are going to go in and try to take care of these medevacs, but you know what? Now it's high time for Daze to pack up and head home while doing a bunch of damage into Nico's base. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at how much damage it is. And units lost and resources still favor Daze by about half. So that other attack actually gave Daze enough opportunity to bring up his third. He's actually morphing into Commander and more than likely going to plop it down right over here. So now that income tab, the income lead that Nico had is pretty much gone. He does only have 28 harvesters. Not sure where the rest went. I'm pretty sure he had about 35 at one point. So if there was a sneak attack that Nico pulled that I missed, I am very sorry for that. But other than that, we're going to go ahead and see Daze take his third. While it looks like Nico is not even planning on taking his third, just that he's just rebuilding those unit producing structures that he lost, while we see Daze actually push forward with another equally sized force that he attacked with a moment ago. And if his decision makings was is anything like it was a few minutes ago, it will be equally effective and destructive. But we actually see Nico just taking a little bit more of a precaution, pushing those siege tanks a little bit closer to where any kind of landing spot for those medevacs are. And these medevacs are getting awfully ballsy. I mean, they don't have any offensive capabilities, but you know what? They're going to park themselves right here. We actually see another engagement going to come in if Daze decides to stem up and just push forward. I do believe he actually has enough forces to just completely overrun these 2 mega forces. I mean, they are 2 siege tanks, but there isn't enough damage to be. There's just too many units that Daze has. It's just churning through anything that Nico has. All that's left is that single siege tank, and Nico GG's. So very well played by Daze. Daze, nice harassment, and nice harassment just continuing throughout the entire game, and it just goes to show how harassment can prevail even if you are behind economically. So that's it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know my cat did because she was just hopping around all over the place. Right, Sophie? I know. And if you guys have any comments or opinions on anything that I can do to make these more enjoyable for you, feel free to leave them down in the comments below. Also, if there's a replay you'd like for me to do, leave a link to it down below, and I'll see what I can do. Otherwise, I'm going to get on out of here because the system is going to shut down in about 5 minutes.